For that one, the second paragraph, where we list everybody that's here, Dean is not listed there. And we do list that he, 2 paragraphs later, it says we,
comments, huh?
well, no, we approve for him to participate digitally, but he needs to be in that first list.
Yeah, we missed that part.
All right.
Or just that he was in attendance. Yeah.
Yeah, or attended online is how we usually write it. But so I will make the motion that we approve the minutes of the June 8, 2026 regular town council meeting with that amendment.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Swafford to approve the minutes as the minutes as amended. That's agenda. All right, I was opening up the document. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? That motion carries. Next item is the minutes of June 15, 2026.
If the ones in the agenda are not the right minutes. So we don't have the minutes for that meeting?
We do.
We do?
They're in there. There's 2 different agenda items with it.
Yeah, it's page 11. Very short.
May 20th.
But that is a problem.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, okay. I was like, it says the 20th. Yeah.
So that would be an amendment.
Yeah. You want to make this motion?
I can't.
I guess you can't because you weren't there.
Yeah.
All right, I move to approve the minutes of June 15, 2026 special town council meeting, amending the date to reflect the appropriate day.
All
I'll
right,
second that.
thank you, Councilman. Moved by Councilman Boyd, seconded by Councilman Loftus to approve the amended minutes of June 15th, 2026. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, opposed and abstentions. All right, so that'll be 301. All right, next item, how you doing, is going to be citizen concerns. Are there any citizen concerns? Yes. Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, Council, the traffic on my street, South Fremont, is crazy. I think there's a bunch of new rentals or something down there, but there is more like all morning and then it starts about 3 in the afternoon. So, before we had those speed strips,
Yeah.
which kind of helped except when people go on the sidewalk.
To avoid? Is that what the thought is? Okay. What street is it, Peggy?
South Fremont.
South Fremont, yeah.
So
I think it's almost like we need like purpose, every annually be putting a speed bump on that particular.
I haven't even got the speed bump out this year. The crews have been so busy, but I have several requests from citizens around town to install it. So it's time for it to come out. We'll slowly move it from hotspot to hotspot a couple weeks.
Sheriff, you're looking for some money.
So we'll get our digital fees on that.
I'm thinking we just create a couple of deputies that like sit on motorcycles or e-bikes.
I saw old thing, so it's a small placard. The front end is of a police vehicle. It has working lights. You just face it towards the traffic. But it's just a single piece of plywood.
I like it. I like that.
The wind blows.
Process, so you can purchase a car.
That'd be fantastic, yeah.
It's probably better for the highway where you don't see it more than there.
Clear windshield.
All right, thank you, Peggy. Understood. Any other citizen concerns? None. All right, any council concerns?
Got it hit up the last about the month. I've had 3 or 4 people bump me about Main Street holes, and you're aware.
Where
Just putting it out there.
Are there holes on Main Street?
Yeah, possibly.
Andy.
Yeah, by the post office was one, and then out by, as you get closer to Rebel, I think there's one over there.
Yeah, there's one on Country Club. I instructed the guys that once we start emulsioning,
Yeah.
the ones that are at the approaches that are kind of like on the side street, we'll make sure we kind of patch those up regardless of where the state gets, because those rocky every time. The ones out on the street, unfortunately, the town should not touch. And the state is aware, and they're working on it. I mean, I'm sure they'll have their patch crew. It's like a blessing and a curse when their patch crew comes over.
Yeah.
But,
Remind me again when they're coming to do striping?
They were supposed to be here Thursday or Friday. They clearly did not make
Okay.
it. So they must have got slowed up in Jackson and suspecting any day at this point.
No, that's Jackson again.
That's where they were before us. So,
Cool. Just relaying
yes.
the citizens' message.
And we realize the street's pretty filthy as well, especially some of the sand that blew in this weekend. So being back this week, probably as early as next week.
Yeah, I mean, how many trees did we lose? I know at least 3.
We lost 3 in a building.
I was gonna say a building, yeah.
That wasn't ours, but
No.
thank goodness. But yeah, there was some pretty vicious stuff.
I saw some fresh branches being cut down in my neighborhood, so.
Yeah, over the weekend, we just instructed crew to get them out of the way of traffic in major hazard areas. And I think they were out cleaning them up today more. I mean, we lost a really big in Legion, like big, mature pine tree. Everything was big, one of our biggest, nicest trees.
Yeah.
Just, yeah,
Didn't realize
it
that.
just
I was
exploded.
looking the other way when I drove by Legion Park.
Wonder why?
Yeah. Heard some things.
Yes.
I have a citizen concern / staff concern to talk about. Months ago, we had discussed the possibility of having emergency camping during Rendezvous because of the softball tournament. But today, just probably an hour ago, Annika did reach out to the lodging establishments in town. Currently, over Rendezvous weekend, the Hampton still has 16 rooms left. The checkbook didn't answer, but we think they had a few left just based on a post that we saw. And the Best Western also had about 20 rooms left for Friday and Saturday night. So we don't know if at this point it's warranted to do that yet. Casey Dallin has been keeping track of how many people he has on the waiting list. The last we talked to him last
21.
Tuesday or Wednesday, there was 21 people on the waiting list for RVs. So it doesn't seem that extreme yet. Also, Wind Riverview Campground outside of town had some space left when we called them.
So if we had to, we could do a mayoral, kind of like we were talking in the email chain, like we did for the football.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give everybody a briefing. It's not quite an emergency situation yet.
Yeah.
But we're just monitoring at this point to let everybody know where it stands.
Yeah, so if we need to do it, I'll probably do a mayoral
Yeah,
exemption.
we won't have another meeting before Rendezvous. I just realized looking at the calendar, so.
Waivers, something. Some legal term. That's what I got you for. The mayor will do something to make it allowed.
There's quite a bit of correspondence back and forth with individuals, so I thought I'd just tell everybody where we're at.
Appreciate it. Okay, good. All right, next item is our favorite sheriff, Suffolk County. Casey here.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
It's nice being the only one, right? I appreciate it. Hey, may I ask, Mr. Mayor, does the light up striping include crosswalks?
Yes.
So that's what they're coming through today.
Okay.
They'll come through and do the 2 thermoplastic ones, Tyler and Lake Street. Our contractor is right behind or right in front. He's kind of filling it out as well. And the other 9 or 5 will get done, I'm hoping in the next week.
Okay.
I haven't got it locked in schedule yet.
Does the town put up the actual physical signs or?
We're kind of waiting. We don't want to go rip them out, just put them back.
Exactly.
So we're kind of waiting for them to get through.
I understand.
As soon as they get through, we'll put those out, and then our crew will also be putting the temporary ball box in probably as early as the middle of next week.
Okay, so go back to.
We have those permitted again from White House, so.
Yeah, we get permanent ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, well, thank you for that. So we talked about the wind event this weekend. Luckily, no injuries. Not a lot of personal property damage, but like you had a lot of trees, a lot of branches that blew up. We let the meat locker came down. So other than that, there was that tornado down south in the middle of the.
I know, that was crazy, right?
Yeah. So locally for the town, we took a vandalism call this weekend for more graffiti on one of the bathrooms. And then also trash at the White Skinner fish pond. Thinking that's kids over the weekend just left a bunch of trash. The nice thing is, it looks like, and I don't know if it's good or bad, Facebook, kind of put it out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know Facebook shaming or, but I'm curious to see if that's going to work or not. I saw it work for the green pastures, with people dumping out trash and then calling people out.
That's the vandalism on the bathroom.
Yeah, I got, I've been on the radio now weekly and I spill the tea. And they're like asking me about that. Yeah, sure. Stop.
So we will, again, I guess we will see. So, along, Peggy's concern with the traffic, I mean, our warning citations continue to go up. It seems like tourism is now here. I was just looking at the warnings and citations, and we're probably 75-80% are all on the superintendent speed zone between, the Pinedale town limits. So a lot of traffic going through there. Nothing really of concern other than the vandalism. Events coming up every weekend. There's something barbecues this weekend. Then we're right into Chuck Wagon Days, 4th of July festivities for both towns, and then right after that's London. So, and then the Little League baseball tournament.
So you're telling me you're going to be bored for the next one?
It's going to be busy. Yeah. Had our first group of CDT bikers come through, and also hikers. Although still a lot of the major trailheads, there's still snow as you get up to, and some of the lakes are actually still frozen over. So, but that will, I'm sure with this hot weather, that's going to subside here too. So, other than that, unless there's any questions from council. So.
No. Thank you. We appreciate everything you're doing.
Yeah. Yep.
And wish you the best over the next month.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Councilman Loftus, how was Redcliffe?
Very, very nice. Thank you.
Good.
The spotting scope behind walking it.
Walking by. So. Okay.
Thank you, Sheriff. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, next item is a consent agenda. You'll see on there we have an appointment to park a tree. Catherine is in the room. So thank you, Catherine. Works for the conservation. I forget. I'm Teton. No,
Jackson Holland.
Jackson Holland Trust. Thank you. So she actually brings a lot of knowledge to the table. It's been a lot of fun to have her on park a tree. I think you noticed her email, I assume, better spelling of her name. Okay. Just FYI. We're going to talk about that. I also am recommending the reappointment of Tessa Manning to the Pinedale Planning and Zoning Commission. I think she's done a pretty good job. And also the recommendation of Travel and Tourism Award $5,000 for Rock Mountain Stoll production costs. And that's in there. And then we have the Fireworks West International Sales Agreement, which is what we do every year. So for $15,000. Are there any questions on the consent agenda? Otherwise, I will accept a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as published.
I'll second that.
Moved by Councilman Swafford, seconded by Councilman Loftus to approve the consent agenda as published. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
With every fireworks.
Great. Catherine, I told you it was going to be easy, but you're on the board now, so enjoy. You're welcome to stay as long as you want to, but it doesn't get much more exciting than this. That's not really true.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day. All right, other town business. We have Fremont Lake Dam Reservoir Operating Agreement. I don't know, Abe, if you saw Game and Fishes. So are we?
Approval pending their file.
Yeah, and that's the Attorney General's, the State Attorney General's reviewing that. So I think we're safe saying approving that pending final review by Game and Fish.
They said it like an hour.
Yeah, it's just Pete had a concern about a particular phrasing on the.
Yeah. One phrase said, except for any and all claims to enforce or interpret any provision of this agreement, that they want struck, the Attorney General's office wants struck. And then they may insert the state standard Standard governmental immunity provision.
Yeah. So,
The latter certainly would matter. The first one, I don't really care about that either. That's kind of like tail wagging dog.
that's my take on it. I don't know what I say. If the state, their attorney general is not happy with it. So we have been, so the Fremont Lake Dam and Reservoir Operating Agreement, I think everybody knows, but for the sake that are listening, Fremont Lake Dam is owned by the town of Pinedale and Highland Irrigation District and operated by the Highland Irrigation District. And so we have, for a period of time, been working to revamp the operating agreement and to make it more professional and bring it up to speed to 2026. We do have an accounting system that I think we finally have agreed on that is a working accounting system so that as water comes in or water goes out, it'll be recorded. So Abe and I and Ed have been working a couple of years on this project. Yep. I will mention that until this amendment is signed and we approve the accounting system, there can be no leasing. There really should be no leasing of water. We could, but we really probably should not. You're an irrigation ditch holder too. I got an irrigator in the room, so.
This is really pretty cool.
Those ditches are running pretty full, and I think Dennis is like.
But it's not storage.
It's not storage. So I don't know if people needed to review it. It has been literally a labor of love for several of us for a couple of years. It is our recommendation to approve pending, obviously, the final Attorney General, because the Game and Fish is part of signatory on this discussion. Are there any questions? Dennis, do you have any questions? You're an irrigator. I'd give you a chance to speak if you wanted to. Yeah. All right.
If they're listed here, should they be listed down here as well? I only know because it's where I work, so.
Which page are you on? All right, I see your screen.
So, hey, this is
This is town computer, I get it.
yeah, this is the town spokes computer. But yeah, under any of the allocations, 62, 63, but then there's a signature page for Ultra Resources on 57, but they're not listed below. I didn't know if that mattered. Do they technically not get an allocation? Is that why? But they have rights to it.
Yeah, they have a permit on that particular ditch, so they need to sign off on it. But then when you get to page 62.
Do I need to not vote on that?
Absolutely.
No, you have no personal.
Correct. I agree, but I just want to make sure. Okay.
There's a signature for.
That's why the reason that popped out is why.
Has nothing to do with.
Okay, perfect.
Software, so. All right, is there a motion to approve or are there any questions?
I'll move to approve the agreement pending the approval of the Game and Fish.
Okay.
And the AG or no?
That same difference.
Okay.
The Attorney General is reviewing Fish.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll second. Then.
All right. Moved by Councilwoman Boyce, and second by Councilman Swafford to approve the Fremont Lake Dam and Reservoir Operating Agreement pending final review and edits by the Attorney General. Any further questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Great. Thank you, everybody. Our life is going to be so much easier now, Abe. All right. I said that tongue in cheek too. All right, next item is F2. This is the Pronghorn Crossing discussion. There has been some delays on curb and gutter. Is that right? Curb and gutter, sidewalk. So why don't you guys get up, Abe? Why don't you go ahead and give us a summary, and then we'll let the Pronghorn Crossing, Rio and Dennis speak to us.
Mr. Mayor, what I included in your packet is the package that was sent out after the bond extension approved in January. What's in the packet? Other letter for me or anything in there. Within that package, in January, Town Council elected to extend the bond for the completion of the subdivision with a few conditions. One was that the bond extension was 6 months, extending to August 20th, 2026. The bond amount was, we did release a portion of the bond since all the underground water, sewer, power are all completed, but the bond amount was in there. And then there was a substantial completion date scheduled for July 1st, 2026. In my opinion, and how we operate with town projects, substantially complete is all utilities, curb gutter, asphalt. And then there's always the tie-up items, right, where you clean up behind it, street signs and some other aspects. But with that being said, Pronghorn Crossing, their curb machine got here today, but we had a meeting. Obviously, I had a meeting with both Dennis and Eric. We had a couple of different meetings, but our latest meeting was last week to discuss the timing and schedule. They're not thinking they're going to meet the July 1st deadline. They have concrete schedule completed in the month of June. Now that the curb machine is here, they can answer that schedule better than I can. In our last meeting, the asphalt was scheduled for the week of July 6th. It's the opinion of my department and myself, I guess, that those time, the July 1st was a deadline to make sure they finished. If we go the route of pulling a bond or anything of that nature, as soon as this construction is going to get completed is 2027. So I do believe it's still in the best interest of the citizens of the town, citizens of the subdivision, and the developer to continue down this path. We're rooting for them to succeed, but they are here to represent their schedule and talk about it in more detail.
I mean, I think, just to summarize it, I think us enacting the bond and then doing the work ourselves in 2027 is less than ideal.
And risky.
Right. So, Mr. Fornstrom, welcome.
Question. That bond extension, when does it expire?
August 20th.
August 20th.
So if I understand, we still have asphalt and curb and gutter that need to be completed, and the bond runs out August 20th.
Correct.
The table is yours.
Okay, so we have until August 20th until that bond runs out. Currently, there has been some hiccups on the way, along the way, but that was a good guess that we had for, last December. I am tentatively planning on about July 10th to be done with asphalt. So that would be curb gutter and asphalt will be done right around July 10th. So we're plus or minus 10 days here. If last couple setbacks hadn't happened, we would have been.
I understand they sent your machine to Michigan.
They sent forms for us. They sent forms to Michigan.
Because that's Wyoming.
2 weeks ago.
I think there's a Wyoming County in Michigan, right?
Yeah, and they had a project out there, and those forms went with that project. So right there's 2 weeks delay in itself. Curb and gutter will start tomorrow. We'll have asphalt or concrete on the ground, and like I say, planning on asphalt July 1st. So right around in there, depending on curing time on concrete stuff, we don't want to rush that, but Teletrack will just figure in 2, possibly 3 days at the most for asphalt.
So in the agenda on the motion that's prepared for us, we have the extension granting the extension until July 24th. Is that a reasonable timeline then for you?
Yes.
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 Okay.
And was there
Eric's in the back going.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
with that, if bond runs through the 20th, even the month of July would be, but no, final completion, we'll have asphalt.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, guys, as well, to answer your question, I put that as an arbitrary date, but that's before our second meeting in July. So that if there was any hiccups, they would have an opportunity to discuss with council. The last meeting that a bond extension would have to be filed or something done with the bond would be the August 10th meeting, which is the one following.
This is
So
good this time.
I was just trying to build like a couple meetings in there for discussion if there was hiccups or issues. That date was arbitrary, but that's why I said 24th is the Friday before our last meeting in July.
Okay, I would totally agree with that.
I'm comfortable. I mean, the only thing, and I only mentioned this, and it's no fault of anyone per se, to be very clear. I don't know how to solve this problem because I know our staff has put a lot of time into this project. With every delay, it takes more of Abe's time to sit and go with you to go through it. None of that is billed. It's time that Abe can't put onto another project because he's solving this project. I don't know how we solve that in the future. There is clearly not a solution in this particular project, but it is difficult when staff has limited hours in a week and these delays, fault or no fault, end up laying into additional costs and times on our staff. And I don't know what to do about that, but I toss that out there. We're in budget season. I don't know what to do about it, honestly, but I do want to say thank you, Abe, because I know that this has been hours that you were not planning to work on this. So thank you. And I do understand that there are things that are sometimes out of your control and things go in the wrong direction. And
Once again,
vendors don't always do what vendors say they will do. So
correct. And once again, if all this stuff would have showed up September last year, it would be done.
right. So the will is there. I understand that. I appreciate it. Councilwoman, any comments?
I'm just not thrilled with, I understand there's some of this that's outside of your control, but it seems like some of this could have been taken care of a long time ago, and that would have prevented all this need for extension. So that's where my frustration is with it. And, we say we're not going to extend beyond this, and yet we keep extending beyond. And at some point, I think we have to say enough is enough.
Well, my opinion is August 20th. We're not going to extend the bond, to be very clear. And I think from our perspective, if the town of Pinedale would say, too bad, guys, we're going to call your bond, and then we have to, with our limited staffing, have to solve this problem. This is much better for them to be 4 weeks late and get it done than it is for us to take the bond and do it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I concur with what you're saying, but I will make it very clear that I will not approve of extending the bond. So on August 20th, we will call the bond if it's not completed. So nothing personal there. We all get it. This is one of those projects, and I think any developer that comes into the community, this is one of the projects that gets a lot of people's attention. And it's just, the number of phone calls that we've had on your project is just kind of over the top sometimes, but it is what it is. So I have no angst, just to be very clear. Any other comments on your part?
No, I'm rooting for them. Let's get this.
I agree. I'm excited. I love seeing these houses going up. I'm super excited. So I want to support this as much as I can. Are there any comments from the audience? I see, sir, you came in. I didn't know if you had a citizen's concern or if there was a particular item on the agenda, but I'm always sensitive when somebody walks in a few minutes late. I want to make certain that you were able to speak to what you were wanting to speak on. Well, good. Welcome. All right. Any other? July 24th is what we have currently.
Yeah, we'll make it in the motion. Yeah.
So the idea again would be that we'll put it as July 24th. That is, if for one reason or another, there's another delay, you really have until August, whatever, but please
Just try to give them.
in the mercy of God, don't do that.
Well, we need a meeting
So.
to approve final completion.
So the reason I built a meeting in there is, well, there's two meetings in there. One would be like, hey, do we need more time?
Mhm.
But by that August 10th meeting, council would have to, if they ever wanted to seek an extension or do anything allowed by code, seek what they're allowed to seek by code, it would have to happen at our August 10th meeting in order to be within our bonding parameters and timelines. So.
Yeah. So we have a July 13th and then a July 27th meeting. So in theory, on July 27th, we will get a report that there's substantial completion at the Pronghorn Crossing project.
Yes. And that being said, Mr. Mayor, I have no issues with them working nights and weekends. There's no school in session. They're out kind of on the broad, there's no Saturday, Sunday restrictions. I don't really have any hesitations to waive any of those to make sure they have the time that they need to get done. So.
Dennis, all good, fair, equitable. Okay. All right, can I have a motion then, please?
I move that we approve the extension of condition on substantial completion for the completion of Pronghorn Crossing subdivision to July 24th, 2026.
Councilman?
I'll second that
No,
under protest.
I'm not going to second it. I won't vote against it, but I'm not going to second it.
All right, I knew that. Motion by Councilman Swafford, seconded by Councilman Loftus to approve the extension of a condition on substantial completion for the completion of Pronghorn Crossing subdivision to July 24, 2026. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. That carries 4-0. Great. Eric and Dennis, enjoy. We're looking forward. It's looking really good, guys. It's good stuff going out there. Appreciate it.
Yeah, starting tomorrow, we'll start season.
Nice. Thank you.
The string lines are up, the grade is cut this evening.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. All right. The next item is record of survey for Orchid Hill boundary adjustment and right of way. I saw your map.
I'm gonna share this different map. That's for later discussion. I'll share.
Do we get a new clicker?
You see? Okay. Okay.
Was it a pointer?
Yeah, when I cheated out.
So,
Get swallowed up. Yeah.
all right, Mr. Mayor and Council, I've shared my screen, it's posted up there. There's a couple changes to this one on the screen compared to the one that's in your package. They're very minor in detail. One of them is on the label right here. It doesn't show abandoning that easement yet, and Ed will talk to why that is the case. And then you don't see a county pathway easement inside of this track. The purpose of this track is to define what's left of the original patent north of the hospital and divvy it up into definable tracks. And this would be something that would be recorded at some county clerk's office that would kind of define what these pieces of ground are. And then as we go through our second read of the rezone application, the rezone ordinance later in the meeting, that specifically references track C. Track C is the portion that is being proposed to be rezoned commercial, C1. And without this being recorded, we cannot advance to the third read of that ordinance because track C doesn't truly exist. So this is kind of step one of, and there's been multiple steps in this process, but this is a step that has to happen to define track C. On the backside of this, there'll be a second record or survey that will need to be filed that does abandon and change this right-of-way easement. Right now, the county has two easements within this, one for their current easement that the road did not land within, one that would be a new easement that it does land within, but we can't just move their easement without their permission. So that's why that note was removed from the plat. The same exact reason of why the county pathway is not shown on here as an easement is we need to work with them to grant that easement. And so Ed was going to work with Clayton and kind of starting and initiating that process. We would show those easements recorded as part of a future record of survey when we also add any other lines that you guys want to add, defining chunks of ground. Ed, did I do okay on that?
Yes, we can't, the original plat showed abandoned easement. Well, it's a county easement. We can't just file a plat that says abandoned easement.
That's the one.
This was sent to me and I was getting ready to send it to Clayton and Skyler, and I was struggling with the way the new town easement lines up with the town street now. Abe explained it to me. Didn't line up with town street, the county road, Lake Road, because Lake Road is not built into county easement. The town easement aligns with the existing county easement, which is right. So there's not a job there per se. It's just that the county built Lake Road outside of the easement they have on lot 6, which is to the left of the gray line. So I'll provide that to Clayton and Skyler, and we'll see how that shakes out. We'll have to go to the county commissioners and explain it to them. So here's the document to abandon it, and here's the document that will remove it. So it's a process that has to be done.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys doing that. Are there any questions? Because I think council understands what we're doing, but are there any questions from anybody in the audience?
Mr. Mayor, this is Councilman Loftus.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't hear what Ed was saying, so
Yeah, to be clear, it's that there's certain things that are recorded as an abandoned easement, but we can't put an abandoned easement on the plat. So we've got to go back to the county. It's like the county path. It just has to be clarified. So there's certain things that are, it's just a process to make sure everything is registered correctly with the county for this particular tract so that we can turn around and then rezone tract C as the commercial. So go ahead.
Okay.
What's most important is track C is not going to change. Track C is what the rezone is referencing. Ultimately, it's a record of survey. We can come in and change a record of survey at a later date. But you know, we just got a few steps before we can show that stuff's abandoned, etc. Before we.
This is necessary for the rezone, which is all of track C,
Right.
which doesn't exist until we file this plat. Once the rezone is done and you decide what exactly you're going to sell to whom, then we'll do another record of survey, probably creating tracks D and E.
I don't see it.
And we're not accepting it, is the town doesn't have to follow subdivision.
That's right.
Process.
And at that point, hopefully that record is the way we can put all the final easements cleaned up and done. Have one nice map that has everything defined. So just sequential.
Yeah, no, that's the process. It's easier than the other process, but we're cleaning up government land that we've all ignored just because we just could leave things not done and we're getting it done. So it's a process. Any further questions about this? Okay, I will entertain a motion then to.
I move to approve recording the record of survey for Orchid Hill boundary adjustment and right-of-way contingent upon removal of reference to the abandonment of the existing county road easement.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councilwoman Boyce, second by Councilman Swafford to approve the recording the record of survey of Orchid Hill boundary adjustment and right-of-way. I'll just stop there. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Great. Thank you, everybody.
F4.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. It's over here on the side. I was actually going to listen. All right, next item on the agenda is F4. This is the purchase of gravel for 210 West Pine. It's an amount of about $4,000. Abe, go for it. It's about $1,500 more than I can spend. So.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, yeah, like what we got today came in at $3,800 plus about 500 shipping. So request I would ask for like a not to exceed 4,500 or something.
That's what I wrote down.
To get the gravel purchased. They just got the price this morning. We're just trying to keep that project moving so it's ready by July 1st. So I apologize for the delay. I didn't anticipate that we would quite be that high on our costs. I thought it'd be under my spending.
Do we need to include the company name that we're purchasing it from?
Teletractors Incorporated. That's the pit just out of town.
Gotcha. Easy enough.
So as everybody knows, because people always ask, what are we doing at 210? 210 is becoming kind of more of an urban park, and we're putting sodding and pathway and gravel and power and lighting.
So the power is pretty close to done. Rocky Mountain Power is showing up on Wednesday to light it up. And then the sod is showing up on Tuesday of next week. So the team will probably out rolling sod on Wednesday, and I'm hoping to have the rest of it put together before then. So hopefully by next Wednesday or Thursday, it's looking like a complete project and ready for operation.
Sweet.
And the delivery of that gravel scheduled in there as well?
It's scheduled for tomorrow if we can pull the trigger.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion? Any further discussion? Everybody comfortable with this? Good. Part of the project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I move that we approve a gravel purchase from Teletractors Incorporated for purposes of use at 210 West Pine and not to exceed $4,500.
Second.
Oh, gotta move faster, Councilman. Moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to approve the purchase of gravel from Teletractors not to exceed $4,500 for 210 West Pine. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. You were about to say that. So. All right, here we go. We got a lot of ordinances work going on. Look at all those resolutions. You've been busy. Okay. Sorry. So again, we might need it. If you guys don't have it, you might be in that Word file as well. Sorry, somebody's texting me. I'm dumb. I don't know why they're texting me. All right, first item is resolution 2026-09. This is our drought contingency reserve. This is the creation of $100,000 in the event that we have to purchase a pump to get water out of the dead pool of the lake. So we don't expect it. I think to be very clear, we have 18,000 acres of storage water in the lake and or below, but given all the conditions with the Colorado River Compact and everything, we felt that it would be better to have the money set aside and locked so that we will always have it there so we can use it. And literally, it's going to take us a motion to move it or 2 weeks to get it done, but we can get it moved.
It's just the resolutions, we can do another resolution to send.
Get it out. So,
And our intention is to basically procure this pump, generally speaking, to have it procured in line, something that would be kind of plug and play that we know is on a shelf somewhere in America and not have to design the whole thing in the event of an emergency.
right. Thanks, Captain. All right, any questions about this resolution? Nope. As you know, this is going to be part of our budget, so we are creating the contingency reserve. Can I have a motion, please?
I move to approve resolution 2026-09, a resolution committing $100,000 of Fund 51 water fund balance for a drought contingency reserve.
I'll second it.
Okay.
You can have it.
Moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Loftus to approve resolution 2026-09, drought contingency. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, next item is resolution 2026-10. This is a resolution authorizing the creation of a separate fund for the receipt, accounting, and expenditure of state of Wyoming direct distribution funds. We talked about this. The state legislators have recently changed how they're doing direct distribution, which is fantastic. I applaud the senators and the legislature for doing this. We will no longer be having to go down there and fight and ask for direct distribution. However, one or two of them did point out that there is only certain things that the direct distribution money could be spent on. And a lot of the towns were kind of like, oh, we didn't realize that. It's all covered. We've got it, accounting was covered, but we felt that it would be better to create an entirely different fund within it so that it'd be very clear and transparent for anybody who wanted to do an audit on the town of Pinedale's books. So we are getting a step ahead. So that is about $170,000 we're expected to receive or something like that.
179,000.
There we go. Not bad. Okay. So any questions about this? We've already talked about it, but all right. Can I entertain a motion, please?
I move that we approve resolution 2026-10, a resolution authorizing the creation of a separate fund for the receipt, accounting, and expenditure. Yep, state of Wyoming direct distribution funds.
I'll second that one.
All right, moved by Councilman Swafford, seconded by Councilwoman Boyce to approve resolution 2026-10, the creation of a direct distribution fund. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next item, resolution 2026-11. This is a resolution adopting rules for the use of 210 West Pine Street, the park that we are putting in. I don't know if anybody had a good chance to review it.
Yeah, it needs a couple edits.
Okay, a couple edits.
Under operating rules, there are, in that first bullet point, there are 2 commas that don't need to be there. They both should be struck.
Yeah, I don't think it needs a spaces, comma, first come, first serve.
And first come and first serve should have dash. So first dash come.
Hey, Dean, you've got some background noise.
Kids are talking.
And then a question that I had, we have a bullet point that says no smokers or barbecues allowed. What about a food truck that is a barbecue grill?
That would be a food truck.
It's okay as long as it's contained on the truck?
If you're I mean, I wouldn't want to sit there if I were another food truck and have to have somebody else smoke, or if I'm the hair salon next door and have somebody smoker coming out and smoking my clients as they walked out with their nice hairdos. You've got several retail establishments within close proximity of that. So I mean, one of the concerns that we actually have gotten calls about is from one of the retail establishments saying they were concerned about somebody with a smoker being there. So, which I think is a valid concern.
A smoker explicitly, for instance, East Coast Subs has like a little exhaust stack. I think most of them do if they're cooking on site, right?
Yeah, but they're not smoking anything.
That's my question, was that distinction.
That's not smoking.
That doesn't count.
I
Okay.
don't think so.
Yeah.
That's inside.
I wouldn't.
And if they're grilling a hamburger inside the truck.
But there is a food truck that has the back portion of it that is an open grill.
Right, yeah.
And so.
That's not a smoker?
But it says grills.
Yeah.
Barbecues.
And the other.
It says no smokers or barbecues.
This fire, any kind of open flame or any kind of smoke would be, I think the neighbors would be understandably concerned about that.
I mean, the nice thing about this, what I would recommend is, this is a resolution. You run it for a year. It turns around that there's a food truck or a couple of things that involve barbecues or something like that. Like, okay, under that condition can be allowed. We can amend this at resolution.
I think the reason that I'm concerned about it is because two reasons. First, we have a food truck that operates out of Sublette County that fits this description. Second of all, we allow it at Rendezvous. And how is it any different if it's 2 blocks down the road than it is at 210 West Pine? And so, because we've had others that do that, and this just seems like it could be interpreted as being
the difference.
Discriminatory.
We can't regulate that much on what the county allows in their park type use unless we say no food trucks. And if we make a food truck rule, then it would apply all over town. But if we're just making a rule 210 West Pine, because then that's the case. But I don't think there are retail establishments near those other locations where food trucks are typically.
And the fact of the matter is they can be allowed elsewhere, and we're just saying on 210 West Pine, which is the center of the city, just like this.
Right, but if you're going to use that spot as during Rendezvous as the food truck location, I could see it being problematic for, less desirable for someone to have to be in a different spot.
They just have to be in a different spot.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, like, I guess the question I was having was like, I'm less bothered by the smoker, right? Because I don't know really how many food trucks are really smoking while they're selling, right? They probably generally have smoked it before they come.
There's definitely an open grill.
The grill, so that's what I was thinking, like the open barbecue, like, because I think the one I'm thinking of, if you're thinking of it, is on the back of it, they have a little grill.
Yeah, and it's very open, on the back of that truck.
Guys are like cooking something, but then,
Right.
so how are you distinguishing between those two? Because I think you are.
I don't think she is. I think it's all.
No, there's no distinguishment between it because I'll give you an example. I don't want to throw out his name. We all know who had a smoker. It was not a truck, it's a stand down at the southeast edge of town.
Yeah.
And there were several complaints from local residents and businesses about that smoker being obnoxious. And then this year, a business very close to 210 West Pine said, well, we're not going to allow that person to have our smoker stand out there. Are you right by our merchandise? And it was like, I'm not going to allow or disallow anything, but I will put that in the suggested rules.
And there's the likelihood of merchandise being outside more often. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, I get you.
I guess
I just don't want us to single out. Sorry.
I don't think we're singling. I guess smoker absolutely makes sense. I'm just trying to understand barbecue because I'm thinking of like a couple of the Filipino trucks where you order a stick of whatever.
But are they doing it inside?
But that's enclosed.
That's my point, right?
There is a stand.
Right.
There is a stand where they do have a barbecue grill separate from there. They don't have a truck. They just do a food stand. I'm thinking of one that is at fair every year, where they've got the trailer and the back half of the trailer is a barbecue grill. And that's where I'm just concerned that, like, why are we picking on, one particular thing?
Well, I don't think you're, to be fair.
Okay, but
Yeah.
here's why I think this. Okay, so I work at the library. I walk outside at lunchtime. I can smell the food from all the restaurants, and it's delicious, it's wonderful. It doesn't bother me. But, that smell is going to travel regardless. And so to say, all these trucks except you, too bad for you, it just doesn't seem like that's equitable.
I think you have to be very careful because I don't think this is directed towards a truck. It's directed towards a type of service, right? And smokers. And I think the other thing that comes into this is, are we going to allow people to bring barbecue grills to this park?
I have like a travel Blackstone. Does that count? Because it's a griddle.
Exactly.
It's a grill.
Because the idea, the bullet point about it is no fires are allowed. And I think we do have to be very careful. Like, I don't think we want to open fires.
Well, I think that I interpret that as like a fire pit, which is different, but I just don't see, first of all, I think a solution to this would be that we could allow it during special events like Rendezvous or something, and not the rest of the year or whatever.
But then that would be just a variance on a particular request for an event. We could probably do that. But in general, the park rules would be X.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not thrilled with it just because we do have other locations, like, they could park, like you say, 1 block over and it would be the same thing. So I just don't.
Except that we are creating a permanent urban park where this is going to become a bit more permanent position.
True.
So
Who's hashing out?
I'm fine with leaving it because I just think right now I can come back and change it if all of a sudden it realizes that this is unreasonable. Going the other way would be more difficult. I feel like being more restrictive and lightening it is easier than having it loose and then, oh, we got to tighten that, especially when we already have registered complaints from people who say you're not going to allow that kind of thing. All right.
Do we actually have a registered complaint?
Phone calls that staff has received.
I would note that it is better. It is easier to go more restricted, less. All we have to do is step back. Like to clean up the ordinance dealing with full-time food trucks. Well, I've invested my life savings in this. Why don't I have to move? And well,
That's right.
we struggle.
And also having personally sacrificed the hours of sleep during Rendezvous last year with the jail, I do understand the smoke aspect of this. But yeah, if you've got local businesses, I guess I get that. I don't love it. I'm with Councilwoman Boyce. I don't love it because it does feel like we can immediately but like think of an example of someone who does not comply. And that part stinks because I feel like that person and or people will be feeling like we're coming after them kind of thing.
And I actually really like this individual who has understand.
Yeah. So
I'm just passing along information. You can do with it what you.
No,
The flip side then is you have local people who've said that they're kind of concerned about it. So now you're saying, well, your opinion doesn't matter. We actually want to favoritize this one particular vendor.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not saying it's that one vendor. I can think of 2 that normally are during Rendezvous that have the grill open.
But they can still do food truck sales. They just wouldn't be doing that barbecue portion, for example.
But that is their whole business model.
Okay.
In both of the cases that I'm thinking of.
Mhm.
So, and I get, we can have them somewhere else, but it seems like, you don't get to be at the prime spot where there are picnic tables and it's designed for you to sit and eat. So that's just my concern with it. I think we have to be careful. I don't care so much if they're like, what their setup on the inside of the enclosed truck looks like. To me, that's not what we're discussing here.
Right.
But I do think, I know of 2 in particular that were disadvantaged by making this rule.
I think with prudent planning by the organization that's running it this year, I think you could probably have a little bit of a workaround. But again, if it doesn't work, we just come back and check hearing the complaint.
But I come back to this, like Ed and Maureen, like if this Rendezvous, for example, there's a food truck that does do barbecue, we can actually create a variance and say, okay, in this particular case, you need to do it for 2 days.
I just think
general park rules are X, but for this event, we will let you be there.
And see, I guess, from that respect, I do like that because I don't think anyone in their right mind is expecting, like, and even retail businesses around there are expecting it to not smell like Rendezvous, for the lack of a better way to phrase that. Because I do think you can, well, you can smell it from, you're right, multiple blocks away. Most of half of town near Main Street smells like the food vendor area. Just like China Gourmet and Los Cabos, you smell their burgers, and then the MSG now. So it just is what it is. I forget what it is to smell. I don't. I don't. Oh, if we weren't in the meeting, I'd make jokes. But if we can, I mean, I guess I'm comfortable with it, with the idea that we can change it, so we can evolve it or adapt it if need be. So,
Councilor Loftus, do you have an opinion on this?
I know what Councilwoman Boyce is saying about those two particular ones, but I don't think we should try to regulate it. I think they need to be able to do their business. And if it's a issue of their smoke contaminating other businesses, then we got to put them two in the same place so they can fight each other with smoke, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. So.
Okay. Is there a motion to move this, or do you want to amend it? Councilman Boyce wants to amend it.
Well, I want the commas taken out for sure. I don't know. I just would rather see it. I mean, I would rather see us say special events are excluded from this, or say no smokers or barbecues allowed except during special events, because then we don't have to address it every single year during Rendezvous. Or we could even just say during Rendezvous. I don't.
Because who finds what special event is.
Right. Yeah.
I'm okay with that piece, adding that during Rendezvous, because I just do think that everyone's going to understand.
I'm just afraid that if we don't do that, it's just such a disadvantage.
See, I disagree. Now I'm becoming more strongly disagreeable, because I feel like we have the ability at any time to create a variance and say there can be an exception in this particular instance. If you specify Rendezvous and then come October, there's somebody who wants to do, I don't know, some special event there, and they come in here and they say, hey, I know you don't normally allow it, but we'd like to do a barbecue. We're all like, oh, that's a great idea. We've gone in and narrowed the law down and said only during Rendezvous. Whereas I think if we just all understand that we have this ability to make exceptions at times when we want to, if you want to, you can put that except for under special, except for under town council approval, make it more broad that way. If they just call out Rendezvous, I feel like because now we're going to come back.
Well, I feel like
6 months from now, we're going to be like trying to amend it.
Right now, they're going to have to ask for forgiveness, because the Buffalo Junk Club is going to, is that the proper organization? I always get their title confused. My apologies. They're going to approve vendors to be in certain places. And then there's going to be a violation of the most recent resolution that we just put in place before our next meeting, for that exact reason that we are absolutely foreseeing tonight, right now.
Unless you're going to see them every single year. It's going to be the same thing every year.
Well, my point is, I wouldn't call out Rendezvous. I'd say if you want to. I mean, I think every rule in the park, every rule always has, there's laws about how we can create exceptions. I don't think we need to write it into the resolution.
Okay, but how could they get an exemption for this year?
Yes.
Because this is our meeting before that.
I mean, if they would come in and apply, and we would just approve, I think that's.
But wouldn't that come to us?
Approve, right? So.
Change the effective date to be.
Yeah, it sounds like
just passing a resolution. Yeah, unless we modify the resolution that the mayor can grant.
That's my point. It's like, don't make it narrow around Rendezvous. Make it narrow to, it can be modified by mayoral approval or something like that, so that it's rapid, right? Not that I'm looking for, the mayor's looking for power, but if somebody comes in next week, then we can do it without calling a special town council.
It has to be the mayor, because staff.
Yeah, it can't be staff. But I mean, that.
Well, presumably though, the people who are coming to have food stands during Rendezvous are probably already signed up and are already planning on being there. So for us to throw a rule in, and Maureen suggested making it effective after Rendezvous.
I'm fine with that, but I think.
But I also think we're going to look at this every single year. You're either going to have people that are, every year you're going to have to grant exceptions for Rendezvous, or you're going to have people who just don't bring their food truck because they see this and they think, oh, can't do it. And so they won't even come.
That supports my suggestion, right?
So
Like you can have an exemption based on mayoral approval, right?
But we already had that
Or
exemption.
have it,
And we have, like in planning and zoning, we try not to state a specific exemption where an exemption already exists, because then it's like, oh, well, why didn't you call that out here too? You know, so. Like we wouldn't say you can ask for an ordinance within the, or you can ask for an exception within that ordinance because it's already there. So you don't need it written in. Maureen has a comment.
Yep.
I am 99% sure that none of the Heartland program for 210 West Pine have a barbecue or smoker
Yeah, I was gonna say.
during rendezvous. So we have a coffee cart so far, and fully enclosed tri-tip sandwich stand. It's already been smoked. What's that? It's already been smoked. Yeah, it's already, yeah.
That is how most of the people, there's just a couple instances where they'll grill it up on
The
spot.
vendor that you're talking about that has the barbecue pit actually does the rodeo usually and does not do the actual rest of rendezvous.
Yeah.
I think it's the same one out of Big Piney that we're talking about. Yeah. He usually is stationed up at the rodeo grounds.
And he, out of protest, has hung out at the Jackalope Motel as well.
Yeah, he has. That's Jackalope Motel
Yep.
also.
Yep.
But
There's also the food stand that just has barbecue grills. It's a Filipino stand.
But that's inside and it's vented, right?
So
So
It says barbecues on here. To me, a barbecue is a barbecue grill.
That's where I was hung up, the barbecue, because I think, what the Filipinos are doing, for example, inside the trailer is technically.
No, there's two. There's one that has a trailer and there's one that just has a stand that does not have a truck.
Okay.
And they use barbecue grills. So
Well, in
that's
that
the
case, they
distinction
would
there.
not be allowed, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That sounds fair.
I don't care. Strike it. I don't care.
Well, I
I got a
don't,
lot of arguing to do.
I know.
Oh, we gotta argue more?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm the one that gets phone calls from people who are complaining because we did such and such a shoot down and now they're like smoked out or people are upset. So I mean, if you want to create an exemption in there, create the exemption, but I think I wouldn't go back on it yet.
I had the word excessive and Ed told me who's going to define what's excessive.
Looking like a lawyer.
So how would you like to do that?
I'm honestly on the fence on this one. I know I'm not supposed to be, but I kind of am. I can see both sides. I don't know if anyone's going to leave their smoker running all night, if indeed they were to smoke on there, specifically for rendezvous or any other thing, because there wouldn't be enough of there's not ample security to make sure that no one messes with that. So it wouldn't be left unattended.
No, the barbecue grills is the part that I think is more problematic.
That's the part that's tough, and I don't know what you do with that.
I guess my question, what I'm suggesting, I don't know, this doesn't seem difficult to me. Can't we just create a clause in there? These are the operating rules for the park unless it's given by, you create the exemption in there so that tomorrow, if we have to, we can also say, oh, in this case, we'll allow it for this reason. I don't understand what the problem is.
But can't we already do that?
Well, you're the one that wanted the exemption. I think we can already do that, but. you
Well,
wanted it in the
I'm just
resolution.
trying to not make it messy as far as the,
That was my take. I feel like we can always amend this. We can always create the exemptions. I feel like we have that ability. But if you wanted it in the code, I was like, don't call out rendezvous, just allow it as a general exemption that can be invoked in December. If somebody wanted to barbecue in December for some reason, and we felt it was reasonable.
And currently there are no rules.
Currently, there are no rules, right?
Which is concerning to us.
Us.
So what if we left barbecuing? Because in theory, unless you've got a real mess, you're not making that much smoke with a barbecue, but just said something, because you can use a barbecue to smoke, but just said no, but just say no smoking allowed,
No smokers and
no smokers or smoking of foods.
And let's make sure you have to also make certain that we're talking about food service and not just smokers.
I know, I said of food, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Like, because now I'm suddenly like,
No food smokers and no food.
I'm okay with that.
And then strike or barbecue.
Strike barbecue.
Strike the barbecues.
Barbecue, but then redefine or smoke.
No smoking. Yeah, right.
I think that's a decent compromise if you're.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And then, and like you said, if after rendezvous, we see something different, or after a couple months or a year, or whatever, we touch it up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Culture for complaints.
Yeah, bring them to the table.
Give them yourself.
Make that wording change.
What's that?
I'll give them yourself.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to approve resolution 2026-11, a resolution adopting rules for the use of 210 West Pine, striking the commas that appear in the first bullet after operating rules and amending the line that says no smokers or barbecues allowed to read no food smokers or food smoking allowed.
I'll second.
Good. Okay, moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Swafford to approve 2026-11 as amended. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Good. Those opposed?
Yeah. Aye.
Oh, okay. All right, that motion carries 4-0. Yeah.
Oh, was that for the positive? Or the
He voted aye. He said, okay. All right, next is the park regulations for 210.
Just park rules.
Sorry, park rules. I'm sorry.
Oh, to
2026-12.
to include 210, right?
Yes.
So this one also has some amendments. The question I had, first of all, is whether we want to refer to South Jackson as a park.
It is legally.
Is it already defined that way? Okay, that was my question there. And then in that next bullet, that's the last bullet on that first page. There's just a typo. No bounce house, inflatable playhouse. It should be bounce houses plural, which should not be capitalized, and structures is missing an S.
Structures.
That's Abe's fault.
And then also, the next line says no barbecue pits, smokers, or heat source allowed on any grassy area. I think that's probably okay though. That's specifically to the grassy area.
Because clearly we have people, right? It's not like
Oh,
boys
yeah,
there.
we trashed the Legion Park that one year.
Learned.
Those are the amendments that I noticed.
So punctuation issues. And spelling issues.
And with those amendments, I move that we approve resolution 2026-12, resolution adopting rules for park use.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Loftus to approve resolution 2026-12 as amended. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next item, G5, resolution 2026-13, a resolution establishing a chip seal reserve and committing unexpended fund 10 balances in future gas tax revenues for street preservation purposes. All right. We talked about this during our budget session.
Before, but yeah.
Yeah.
Still annoyed. Moog fees.
I know.
Let's make a resolution where you can't charge the town moog fees.
We wouldn't get in.
We will not pay moog fees. Exorbitant. I know that's a poor legal term. Subjective. Is there any adjustments since you guys talked about it? I won't mess with this.
Where's the idea is that we're going to certain amount of money that is wrong.
No, it's totally. We talked about that before the meeting that I missed. You don't think that won't apply?
What?
The no mo fees? Yeah.
So I will say, I've seen contracts that capped, but they just put it somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, they creative accounting. Yeah. When you get charged over 50% mo fee, it feels weird.
You make whatever limitations you want, then they just get mad at you if you have all the limitations, and it's all right. They just have more money. So, yeah, careful.
Or they don't bid the project.
Or not.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've seen that. Or bid, yeah, stupidly high, which they do. Yeah. If we don't have any other adjustments, I'll make the motion if you guys are ready.
I'm good.
I move that we approve resolution 2026-13, a resolution establishing a chip seal reserve and committing unexpended Fund 10 balances and future gas tax revenues for street preservation purposes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to approve the resolution 2026-13 for chip seal funds. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, next item, resolution 2026-14, airport fees.
Mr. Mayor, there's one change. There'll be other changes in the future. It's highlighted in yellow. Our large part 135 operators, just the end-of-play rate changing from $1 to $1.50. We have tried to use that fee to really promote part 135 repositioning out of Jackson. It's been relatively unsuccessful. And before we go into a busy summer, we feel like this rate needs to be adjusted to normalize with our other rates and really push for, similar with our other part 135s.
Okay, one edit, $1 to $1.50 for part 135 charter hops.
And effective date of July 1st of this year. That's the only other change.
Okay. Okay. Motion.
I move to approve resolution 2026-14, a resolution setting rates and fees for use of the airport Ralph Wentz Field for the town of Pinedale, effective July 1st.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilwoman Boyce, second by Councilman Swafford to approve resolution 2026-14, airport fees effective July 1st. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's 4-0. Next item, 2026-15, a resolution setting rates and fees for sewer and water permits and services in the town of Pinedale. Abe, I think this is our late fees, correct?
This is the adjustment late fees per discussion.
So Councilman Swafford, we decided to change our late fee and make it 10% of the outstanding as opposed to the $35 flat per every. So now if you're late on first one, it's $6.50. If you're late the second month, it'd be 65 plus 65 times 10%. So you do 13 on top of the 6. So it just goes, and then I think we have a 3 month. At 3 months, there's a cutoff, if I remember.
More math for staff, but probably less complaints.
Well, it's also, it's more pro rata. It doesn't turn around and become like a $400 bill after 3 months, right? So, and at this point, I think people are pretty good about paying on time. So we can go to more of an industry standard of 10%. Any other questions about this? You good? 3 of us. All right.
Spent quite a lot of time on that.
It's not more,
Oh, it's not more math?
it's actually easier.
Oh, okay, cool. That's even better then.
Yeah.
Less complaints and easier. Should have done that all the time.
I move to approve resolution 2026-15, a resolution setting rates and fees for water and sewer permits and services in the town of Pinedale.
I'll second. Looks like there's some formatting at the top, but yeah.
Yeah. All right.
PDF got weird, I think.
It's been moved by Councilwoman White, second by Councilman Swafford, to approve resolution 2026-15, water and sewer fees, specifically late fees. Any further discussion?
101 at the bottom.
Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Lines and stuff are missing.
Yeah, well,
Formatting issue.
that's what I'm saying. We're talking about the
It's just
PDF.
the formatting is-
Yeah, I'm not worried about the actual.
Probably perfectly fine in the Word document.
So it is, and that's the, we're having trouble whenever we.
Conversion.
Something Microsoft and Adobe.
I've been having problems with my Microsoft accounts, like changing fonts in the
Yes.
program while I'm actually typing it. Next thing you're like, what the heck? Is
Yeah.
Dang it, AI.
There it is. First world problem. First world problem. All right, G8, approved resolution 2026-6-16, a resolution setting rates and fees for various permits, licenses, and services for the town of Pinedale. Specifically, the itinerant merchant permit, page 2, has been now $100. Any other channel? And then the other one is one continuous year of operations of food trucks is $1,200.
There was a $200 stationary food stand that was getting used by food trucks.
And we got rid of that.
So that's the, okay.
Struck it.
Yeah,
And
it was a nightmare.
this is good to get all these kind of things cleaned up.
They do read our ordinances, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was very confusing too, because there was nothing defining these things. So what we're trying to do is match the rate resolution to the code, which we're obviously changing the code here pretty quickly
The
too.
table out front get charged less.
In developing the online permitting, it became, well, we have for years that we had a lot of like, well, this, but when this, but that was really inconsistent. So this is a cleanup. Part of the cleanup.
Are you?
Yeah, the itinerary merchant, the only thing that changed is making it match the ordinance.
Okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none, motion.
I move that we approve resolution 2026-16, a resolution setting rates and fees for various permits, licenses, and services for the town of Pinedale.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Swafford, seconded by Councilwoman Boyce to approve 2026-16 permit fee resolution. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, next item is ordinance 739. Our fiscal year budget ending June 30th, 2027.
Mr. Mayor, this should be announced as a public hearing. It's been advertised for a public hearing, but that was left out.
Okay,
So rotating forward with it, but it should be.
I will declare this as a public meeting for the purposes of discussing our annual appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027. Like every meeting we have is a public meeting, but there we are. I get it. This is the 30th, yes.
This is second reading.
Kelsey was preoccupied. All right, this pretty much aligns with everything that we discussed at the budget meeting. Any other changes, Maureen or Kelsey, that you wish to point out to us?
No further change.
Councilman Swafford, any questions, just in case?
I wasn't here, so.
Oh, you had other things going on.
So, yeah, I was
Not throwing rocks.
I was actually off grid. It was cool.
Yay.
It's a very straightforward budget. There's very little change in there that is noteworthy over previous years, with the exception of creating Fund 11 to document the direct distribution, doing a reserve for $100,000 out of the water fund, which you just created a resolution to formalize. And that's, and well, yeah, but that's already been discussed.
I'm still waiting on the big argumentative topics, so.
Oh, they're coming.
Are they really?
No,
I
actually,
was gonna say, I was like, I'm looking ahead. I was like, how is it anything?
I'm setting you up for one.
I know. Like, oh, see you guys later. Okay.
Any questions about the ordinance? It's a balanced budget. Well done, staff. Thank you very much. I think the one thing that I've written about in our newspaper is it's a real shame to have to not have chip seal. Defrayed maintenance is going to cost us more in the future, but we'll see. Other than that, I think everything else is pretty darn clear.
We are very much aware of the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to approve ordinance 739 on its third and final read?
I move to approve ordinance 739 on third read, an annual appropriation for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2027.
I'll second that.
All right, moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Swafford to approve ordinance 739, our annual appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027 on its third and final read. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. All right, next item is ordinance 740. Oh, this, yeah, public hearing closed. Closed. Slide. Yeah. I honestly really don't understand why we do that. I mean, I understand it, but I don't understand it.
It's just.
I know.
Exactly. That's why we do it.
And it's different public notification process.
Yeah, I get that. So we're in a public meeting, and I don't know why I have to say it's a public meeting. I get it.
The hearing gets actually advertised. It's the advertisement.
Secondarily from,
Okay, hearing's done. Stop talking about it. That's like the fourth time
I
I've
was
used
gonna
it
say, I
in
was
8
like-
years.
And that
First one was just-
staff.
first one's to test the new desk.
No, that's what I had to gavel. I gavelled it. Do I have to gavel all public hearings? That'd be really fun. We'll start doing that. I think that's the fourth time I've used it in 9 years. All right, maybe third, I'm not really certain. All right, ordinance 740. I mean, you've used it
I've
twice?
used it twice, but one was the
You're just
metal,
showing off.
the metal table at the library before we were here. And then again. I
This
just
has
want
got a
to-
really nice sound to it, you know? Anyhow.
Feels like you're damaging.
All right.
Oh, okay, temporary use permit on its second read. I've sent some of my comments. I think they got reflected in here. This might be where we have to go into the email. Email.
Well, and Kelsey had asked me to send, and I was thinking of a different topic. And so I didn't realize this is what she was asking for. So I didn't get my comments in, but
Well, there's still a third read.
there is, would you rather?
I would.
Okay. I can wait.
Yeah, I think what would be useful is unless you have any changes to the amendments that were proposed here.
Well, I didn't see the email one, so,
It's in the file that Kelsey sent out this afternoon.
yeah, I didn't have a chance to look at that,
It's all
so.
online. Yes, Blaine. What, which,
I have
go ahead. No, it's fine. Just
the park use stating that.
give me a page and a line.
Merchants, it's like item 4 in its comments.
114 maybe, right?
I'm looking at the Word document.
Oh, crap. Okay. It's, yeah.
For park use saying that itinerant merchants can be rolled up under an other event, so to speak. I would like to strike that because I think they should not be into park use. I think they should only be doing temporary.
Well, you and I talked about this via email and I was okay.
And
Yeah. Right. The strike. Itinerant merchants. What do you want to strike?
in the description of itinerant merchants, hang on a second. Under, yeah. Suggest change, it's basically currently stating per your suggestion that itinerant merchants, food trucks and food stands operating during a reserved park use may be covered under the park use permit upon payment of any applicable fee and shall not be assessed separate individual town fees unless otherwise required by town code. I would like to say that's true of itinerant merchants, which we discuss in 3 above that, but I'm sorry, in temporary use permits, but not in park use permits because our parks are taking a beating as it is.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And extra supplies, et cetera, required to host things. And every time we turn around now, we're having somebody saying they're basically trying to circumvent getting a temporary use permit by getting a $50 park use permit.
Yeah.
And then not paying any other additional fees. And so that would include things like the electric power box, which as we know is a direct cost to us to use that power. Not to mention the Wyoming Business Council loans contingent upon having money coming back in on those parks that we used the funds to get the power load boxes in. So that's just something to discuss. You guys can discuss, but I think those costs are growing on our actual cost to provide services at the park, and we shouldn't be eliminating some of that.
So we're striking itinerant merchants, food trucks, food stands all the way through town code, that whole sentence.
Just that sentence
Yeah.
about that it will not be assessed separate individual town fees.
Okay, so we're just striking that whole sentence, correct? So if everybody agrees, we'd approve a motion to approve ordinance 740 as amended, which would include the amendments that are in red, that are not in red in this document because the red line version did not get included in the PDF. So you need to look at the Word document, but striking park use line, the sentence that talks about itinerant merchants. Kelsey, is that correct? Yeah.
I guess my question is with my edits, I almost feel like it'd be better to talk through them then to just send them as a message, because I have some questions about it. It's not just grammatical. So, and I'm reluctant to hold that to a third read because then I can't see the final. Like on third read, if we make edits and then approve that as the final, whether or not what I said gets changed in a way we anticipate, you know what I mean?
If you made changes that the third read would be able to see it, but go for it. If you want to walk through it.
Well, I'll try to do it quickly if you don't mind.
That's why we asked for it, but go for it.
Well, I didn't realize that's what I was, anyway, under B, 1A, where it mentions the different types of gatherings and such. And then it requires the insurance. My question for that was under races. For instance, like the smaller ones, not necessarily the big Foundation 23 race, but some of the littler ones like the snow, whatever they call that one, just the snow. Yes, that and like the Thanksgiving thing. I don't know if they ever do road stuff then. But my question is, have we always required this extra insurance for those?
We have required it since 2017 when I became a town clerk. However, it was not always enforced in the last few years.
So how much would it cost someone to get that type of insurance for an event?
$50 to $100, depending on how many people they estimate in attendance. Okay. Like, for instance, I just bought myself personally, I just did a quote for a rendezvous vendor who was struggling with, it's going to cost me hundreds of dollars. I'm like, no, it's going to cost you $50. And so I went online and helped her apply her.
Okay. As long as it's not cumbersome, I think that's fine. And also within that paragraph, under the word races starts the sentence, this also includes limited storage of items during construction, but then construction items are dealt with in number 6 as well. And it seems like it's contradictory because number 6 does not require insurance, but number 1 does.
Good catch. It should in both places.
It should not, or it should. Okay. So that will need to be changed.
That's what paragraph D.
So that was number 6, a construction yard and building. Doesn't have that clause about insurance. And then
I say it should. That's up to you guys to determine whether it should. If it's consistent, let's put it.
It should be consistent, I think. So if that's going to be, if you wanted it in number 1, we should want it in number 6. Or vice versa. And then 1B.
I said, I think the prudent thing is to have insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 1B, I would recommend changing in his or her discretion to at their discretion. The mayor may, at their discretion, issue a permit to establish and maintain, operate a camp or a camp facility in connection with a special event, and then changing in exercising instead of his or her, say this discretion. I just think it's cleaner that way. And then on to the next page where it says, and this is still part of that same sentence, in exercising their discretion to issue a temporary permit, the mayor may consider any facts or evidence bearing on the sanitary, health, safety, and welfare conditions on, and I would insert the location or surrounding area. So just between on and or, insert the location and mark off of the. It's just more clear that that's what that's meant. I can give you this afterwards too. And then under C, which is a couple of pages, or it's the next to last one. The structure of this is really awkward with the way it's numbered, rather that it doesn't follow the consistency we've had before. I would recommend saying C, additional requirements, and then number 1, take that first part of that sentence, application shall include general information required to conduct business, including the following, and then make the rest of that sentence A.
Okay.
And then the next one would be B, and change the wording instead of a written description, say include a written description detailing the proposed And then C you would start that with include. Also, it just grammatically doesn't make sense the way it's written. But I can give you this if you want. And then issuance would be number 2 instead of C. That's a little bit grammatical, but.
You would make issuance sub of additional requirements?
So I would make number 1 be application shall include the following, and number 2 be issuance, where it's giving the specifics of the issuance.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, that makes sense.
That's it.
I'm going to come back to 4 park use, Kelsey, Maureen, because originally it said itinerant merchants for food trucks and food stands operating during a reserved park use may be permitted under the reservation permit for an additional fee. That's what it said originally. And I had added cover under the park use permit. So really what we want to do is strike my amendment to it. That it remains that itinerant merchants, food trucks and food stands operating in a reserved park use may be permitted under the reservation permit for an additional fee and then not assess the individual fee for that.
Yes, because what we really don't want to do is have people not paying for the power box, not paying for their food truck.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that we understand, because I was saying we were going to strike the whole sentence. We're not striking the sentence. We're just changing the amendment that I had in there. So, okay. All right. You good with all those changes? Councilman Loftus, you good with those changes?
Yes.
Why don't you make the motion?
Okay. Go back to the top.
Councilwoman Boyce is like the grammar queen, I've got to say.
I move to.
Not what that's right.
That's okay. I move to approve ordinance 740 on second read, an ordinance of the town of Pinedale, state of Wyoming, amending section 160-20 general events and itinerant merchants as amended. And I'll hand my paper to staff.
Moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Loftus. Certainly, I heard you say second there.
Yep.
To approve 740 temporary use amendment as amended. Any further discussion? On a second read, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is ordinance 741. Actually, ordinance 740, that was on its first read, was it? Was that second? It was second. Okay. 741 on its second read.
Minor
Amending the
changes.
zoning map of the town of Pinedale to reflect amendment of zoning classification portions. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the second page of the top of the second page, right before number 2, Sublette County Healthcare District, we have a book of stars page stars. So that just needs to be.
That was why we approved the record of survey earlier today, is because those stars will be placed with the actual recording location upon recording that record of survey for third reading.
We did start work earlier.
Nice job, though. Good catch.
Okay, any other amendments?
That's all.
Good. Good.
And you have a surveyor doing the descriptions to verify.
Yeah.
I had to piece them out of stuff. So Ryan Wells, who works with Matt Powers on the review of these, provided the survey review through Nelson.
Hey, you guys certainly are doing junior survey work. It's being real.
We appreciate that.
And Councilman Swafford, I know you had some issues with the name. The name has been changed within the ordinance. So when you guys read approval of said ordinance, if you would read just that top paragraph within the ordinance, it kind of reduces the confusion of book 1 of patents, page 181. So
I appreciate you
yeah.
remembering that I had issues with that. I did not remember that I had issues with that. I just had the independent thought though when I was looking over the agenda and I was like, Yeah, I move that we approve on the 740 ordinance 741 on the second read. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the town of Pinedale to reflect the amendment of the zoning classification of portions of certain lands described in book 1 of patents, page 181, as recorded in the office of the clerk of Sublette County, Wyoming, town of Pinedale, from its present zone district classification of R2A and R4 to the C1 zone district.
All right.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to approve ordinance number 741 on second read. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, next item, department reports. We'll begin with the municipal court. Sheriff Lear is here. Any questions, Sheriff, on the municipal report?
Pretty short.
It is pretty short, actually, yeah. All right, moving on. All right, next item is animal control and the municipal code enforcement from Michelle. Onward. Next is H3, the small little report of public works. Wastewater, planning and zoning, airport, everything physical in the town of Pinedale. And Abe sent that under separate cover.
Yeah. So Mayor and Council, I do apologize for being late. Kelsey was very nice. She called me and said, "Hey, are you done with those?" I was coming back from Cheyenne and said, "No, I'm not. Please send the agenda and I will send it tonight when I got home." So I do apologize for being late, but it was a grueling end of the week getting down to Cheyenne and back. So if you have questions, certainly entertain us.
Any comments? Questions? Things are moving forward. Looks like you're a little busy.
We are busy. The biggest news update that's not in this report, because I sent it out Thursday night. I did go to Cheyenne last week, and the mayor was on virtually a slip board meeting. It was a disappointing meeting. I'm just going to.
This is a request for funding to help pay for the fire suppression of the new hangar. And we originally asked for 750-ish and 740, and it got knocked down to 375 as recommended.
Yeah, we went down to the meeting because about a week in advance of the meeting, we thought we were going to get 380,000 is what kind of was coming out of staff. They had emergency MRG come in, Rollins kind of redirected. And when the formal recommendations from staff came out, we received a no funding request from the state no funding recommendation. So I still attended physically down in Cheyenne. Mayor Brown was virtual, and they allowed each project the opportunity to discuss. And throughout the project, I thought for a second we were going to get partial funding. And then the governor indicated that they're kind of doing a clean sweep, and as they're kind of doing their audit, they've found I'll just call it a pile of cash or whatever it is, cash reserve. Unallocated funds within the SLIB account from, I think, MRG has been a little higher in revenue over the last 2 years. And just as they're coming to their end of the biannual accounting, there's additional funds that they didn't have at the meeting accounted for, but they thought once they completed the audit, he thought it was in figures over $1 million. He doesn't know for certain. He was having his staff verify how much funds are going to be available. And with that, the SLIB board recommended approval of staff report, which means we got no funding coming out of Thursday, but they set a second meeting to reconsider upon the completion of the audit any projects that were underfunded or not funded at a separate meeting on July 2nd. That's coming up here in about 10 days. And I got a call from SLIB staff on Friday morning indicating that they are recommending with those additional funds a full fund of $740,000 to our project. So they found some money. Full amount. We were expecting to go down to Cheyenne and maybe just get a piece. So pretty exciting news on Friday afternoon. Obviously, July 2nd is not here yet. That could certainly change and has changed before, but that's where we're at today. So all that means is on the hangar project, we're trying to be very careful with our engineer and with our contractor to keep pushing the project along without encumbering funds that are eligible underneath that grant until July 3rd. I did speak with SLIB staff after the meeting and said, hey, I know we can't seek reimbursement for funds spent prior to an agreement being in place. We're moving. Like, this project is cooking, and it can only slow it down so much. They indicated that they would be willing to address it upon approval. So our agreement will have a different approval process in it than everybody else that's SLIB. Usually they're effective the date of signatures. Ours will be effective if effective date of July 2nd, as long as we are awarded those funds, so that we can get that executed. They're seeking all the prior approvals necessary just because they know that spending authority is going to be needed as soon as possible. So we're trying to lay all the groundwork to make sure everything is in place. Obviously, that agreement is being reviewed by the Attorney General. Substat. So hopeful.
Well, good news.
All good news.
Very good news.
Hope is not a strategy, but I like it. Good job going down.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from your report, Abe, that you want to call our attention to?
The rest of it, I think, is pretty straightforward. A lot of updates. We are trying to close out as many as possible before the end of the current fiscal year. Some of the accounting and some of the closeouts, because we have too many active projects, but we are waiting for agreements back from the state on several of them. We're waiting for correspondence on several of them. Some of them they are waiting for correspondence from me. So that final closeout has been tricky on several of these projects. So.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Let's go to travel and tourism, shall we?
The reports there, I was off grid, as I pointed out. I did briefly touch base with Maureen earlier. Who was there, but you can see the funding chart. Overall, it looks pretty good. Made about almost $20,000 more. And that does include, in the math, that does include the August, that yellow one that's goofed up on the formula.
It's not really goofed up. There was a skip in the way when the state converted to the splits. And so there's a skip that one.
Well, and we still ended up 20 grand above, or nearly $20,000 above. So
like an 8% increase. Nearly 7%.
Yeah, that's probably good math. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Year on year. All right. Any other?
I do a quick go back.
No. Yes.
I want to tell you your fuel truck is 100% operational.
Oh yeah, that fuel truck was awesome.
Fully operational.
Super happy.
Yeah, they're selling fuel out of it. They like it better than the truck.
That's fantastic. All right. I think that's the end of our department reports.
So the 26, 27, I don't know, Maureen, on the budget, what to expect. I anticipate it will continue to rise because of inflation and everything else going up. This is a percentage of sales tax, so we will likely see more dollars overall.
We will, but we budgeted fairly flat, simply because gas prices were going to be so high potentially this summer that we felt that would cut into our kind of mainstay, which is drive-in traffic. But so far, we're kicking tourism off pretty fairly.
Yeah.
So that may have been a underestimate.
Yeah. All right, next item is bills. Councilwoman?
I move that we approve the bills for June 22nd, 2026 in the amount of $365,024.45 paid with checks 32557 through 32596.
One second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilwoman Boyce, second by Councilman Swafford to approve the bill for June 22nd, 2026 in the amount of $365,000, $365,024.45 paid with checks 32557 through 32596. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item is going to be payroll.
I move to approve payroll and benefits for June 30, 2026.
Moved by Councilman Boyce, second by Councilman Swafford to pay payroll and benefits for June 30th, 2026. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, excellent. We will be going into executive session for the purpose of discussing real estate. There are no actions that will take place afterwards. So we will probably go ahead and cut the public time now instead of leaving it on YouTube for the next couple hours.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I did send a separate invite, separate teams meeting to the council.
Okay.
So that he can join.
See you in a few minutes, Dean.
I move that we enter executive session to discuss real estate.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to go into executive session for the purpose of the real estate. All those say aye.